Hey guys, welcome back. We are going to download some software onto the RC2014 CPM machine that we built in the last episode, and I will show you how to install Nulu, an unzip package, and then we'll download some software. I think we're going to get Aztec C, maybe a couple of games, and I'll show you how to use those on your new CPM machine. So stay tuned. If you haven't, subscribe, like, all that other stuff that people typically want you to do over here or over here or down here, whatever. You decide. All right, stay tuned. All right, so the first thing that you have to understand is to get software onto your CPM Z80 machine, we need to somehow transfer this binary to the device, and really the only interface we have is this serial connection. So the way this works is Grant Searle wrote a program called download.com, and it receives anything from standard input. Standard input is typically it's your keyboard. It's what you're typing. It can be other things if it's piped, but it's your keyboard. So that means we need to download binary code from the internet, right? The programs that we want on our CPM machine. And we need to somehow cut and paste those. And the way that you do that is you first take the binary and you convert it into ASCII with a checksum at the end so that you can cut and paste that into your terminal software. And then the download.com that's running on your CPM machine can read that standard input and convert it back to binary. So that's how this works. The RC2014 website has a tool that will do this for one file, and Grant Searle has written a Windows program that you can grab a number of files, drag and drop them onto it, and it will convert them for you. So I want to show you both of these. By the way, all of the links for this talk are going to be down below. I'm not going to mention that again, but everything that you need should be down below. So what I want you to do is first go to Grant Searle's page and download this link right here. It says download files here. And then we're going to click keep, or at least on my machine. And what we have here is we have the files. Let's unzip them. This is all being done on Windows. If you're on another machine, you'll have to figure it out. All right. Now, one of the things you're going to notice is after it's been unzipped is you'll have a Windows app. And if you just double click the exe in there, it won't work. It won't run. That's because we need to copy this OCX file into our syswow64 directory. Yeah, it's a mouthful, I know. So under Windows, for compatibility, we have this. Let me find it here. So on your C drive, most likely, we're going to have a Windows directory, and under that you'll have what's called syswow64. We want to, within here, we're going to copy this OCX. So I'm going to right click, say copy, go back over here, click, and say paste. Continue. Okay. So that's step number one. Now we actually have to register that OCX. Now, the way you need to do this is you need to be the administrator on your machine. So one way to do that, here, I'm going to show you how I built this shortcut. So one way to do that is, we're going to do this from the command line. So if you don't already have a command shortcut on your desktop, I highly recommend you create one. So let me show you how you do that. We're going to right click, and I'm going to choose new shortcut. And in this box, I'm just going to type in CMD for command. I'm going to hit enter, and it automatically knows that I want command.exe, so I just click finish. Now when you double click this, it's going to run this executable as the current account, whatever you're logged into your machine, which could be administrator. On mine it's not. So I'm going to right click and say run as administrator. And I'm going to say, yep, that's what I want to do. So now this command line is running as administrator. So now I'm going to go back one, and I'm going to go into syswow. And now what I need to do is type in regserve32. And I think we're going to type in... We want to register it, but I don't think you actually have to type in /install. That's only for uninstall. So all we should have to do, since we've already copied it, is type regsvr32 comdlg32.ocx. There we go. And it comes up and tells you that it's been successfully registered. So now when we double click file package exe, it should run. And there it is. It's running. So that's the first step. I'll come back and show you now how we actually download and convert and load some of these files onto our CPM machine. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is download 2 pieces of software, and each of them I will use a different way of packaging them into the ASCII. We'll use the link, and we'll also use Grant Searle's Windows application, so you can see them both being used. The 2 pieces of software we're about to download, one is called Nulu, and the other is Unzip. Obviously, you know what Unzip and Zip is. They're pretty common. Nulu is a very old way of handling what's called a library, which is nothing more than a packaged collection of files, just like Zip. And it used to be called LU, L-U. Library Utility, I believe, is what it stood for, but I don't really know. And I found one called NU, L-U, New Library Utility, I guess. Play on words, maybe, like GNU or new. Anyway. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go and on this link here, we are going to download NULU. That's the only thing that we need from here. Oh, and when you click it, it tries to obviously just show you. I think that's probably the content disposition isn't set right. So we'll click Save Link As, and we'll say put in my downloads. Okay. Now before we actually move that over, let's go and download the zip. So here is the zip version for CPM. And the one we want is this first one. So I'm going to click that, and that one also downloads. Okay, so now let's actually convert these so that we can use them. So I told you I would do this using both tools, but before we do that, I want to show you something. I had a lot of issues using TerraTerm to get the software using download.com and this cut and paste method. TerraTerm I had a lot of issues with, and I did research online trying to figure out what the problem was. I read about changing baud rates. I read about changing handshaking protocols, like using, CTS, RTS, terminal service ready, all that kind of stuff. And the truth is that I just tried Putty, which I've been using for years, and it worked right out of the box. So if you're having problems with TerraTerm, use Putty at least for the conversion, for the upload, of this content. So I've already got Putty running, and this is my machine that I'm showing you here. The A drive has download.com already on it. That's the program that will read the data that we paste into the Putty window. The C drive has a number of standard utilities that are part of CPM. And then you've got a number of other drives on this CF that's already been formatted, the CF card that's already been formatted for you. So what we're going to do is I am going to, using Putty, first thing we're going to do is go to that link. We're going to use the RC2014 converter, and I'm going to choose Nulu. And it says for which CPM user. So CPM has different user numbers, and you can only see the files that belong to you. So just leave it as 0 for now, unless you're going to set your machine up to have multiple users. 0 is what you want. I'm going to click convert. And now what you see here is, I'll walk you through this. You see a text area with basically, here's the command, here's the user, then all this ASCII data is binary data, 2 characters, there are bytes, per single byte. And then you have a checksum at the end that starts, I think, with this greater than symbol right here, and then there's a checksum. So all we have to do to get Nulu on our machine is I'm going to click in this. I'm going to hit Control C. Now see, download is automatically going to run when I paste this in because it's this command, probably followed by a carriage return or carriage return line feed. So now all I have to do is paste this, and there it goes. So I copied it, and then I right click, because right click will do a paste in PuTTY. So if we do a dir, there it is, Nulu. So let's do the same thing, but we'll use the Windows app this time. Okay, so let me close that. Let me go back over here. Let me run the file package. Let me click import file. Let me go to my downloads. Let me choose. I don't see the right file. Let me take a look. Maybe that zip file. Ah, the zip file is a library file. That's why we need a Nulu. So we'll go ahead and choose the library file. Let's say open. Import complete. File added to package. Okay. So we're going to open that file. So there it is. It's the exact same process as you can see. It's done this conversion. It put it in a text file. We will do a Control A, copy everything. We'll copy it, and then we will paste it. And there it goes. So we need Nulu so that we can open the library of the zip package. So after this is done, we'll come back and I'll show you how you use Nulu to open the zip. We're going to need the zip tool because Aztec-C, which we're going to download in a few minutes, is a zip. And because it contains lots of files, you can't really, we're not going to be able to use the RC2014 website to convert it because the zip is too large. So we'll end up using the Windows application, Grant Cyril's Windows app to do that. Okay, so now we have Nulu and we have the unzip package library that we need to expand. So if we run Nulu, we will see that it has a menu. And the way that you do this is that you, well, first let me exit out, do a directory. So I wanted to know the name of the unzip. I'm going to run Nulu. I am going to, looking at that menu that I already had up, we need to open the library. And that is -O, and then the name of the file, unzip 157.lbr. Okay. So it is now open, and we can do a -L to list its contents. So we see that there's some Z80 code, and then the COM. The COM is what we really want. We want to be able to execute it. So we can do a -E to extract, and give it the name of the file, unzip 157.com. Press enter, and -X, and if we do a directory, we should see, yes, unzip.com. Okay, we don't really need the library anymore. You can delete it if you want. The command is ERA to erase something. So now what we need to do is to go and download something else. So let's let me pull up the links that we have. We got Nulu. Okay, let's go take a look at the rest of the links. So, C compiler. Okay, so this is the Aztec C compiler version 1.06D that we're going to download. So I'm going to click it, and I'm going to say keep it. Looks like the site is not SSL. That's why I gave you the warning. Okay, let's go take a look at the directory. And there we have it. We have Aztec C. So what I'm going to do, since this is a very large zip file, or relatively large, I'm going to run, and I'm going to use the package manager. You need to click delete package file if you haven't done so yet. Otherwise, it just keeps appending to the end of it. And since we already used it for something, it will just do it again, basically. Upload probably your unzipped again. So click delete file package. And we want to click import file, and this time we're going to use a zip, and there it is. So I'm going to double click that, and it took a little bit longer, but not too bad. I'm going to open the file package. I'm going to grab it. I did a Control A to grab everything, Control C. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to right click to paste, and there it goes. Okay, it's done. So now what we need to do is unzip it. Let's run the unzip. I don't remember the syntax. Let me just see what happens if I run it. Okay. So I think if we type unzip 157 Aztec -c.zip. I actually want it on the D drive for development. Let me see if that'll work. So I typically have like C is utilities, OS utilities. D is for development. G is for games. I kind of have this way of laying things out. Okay, so we do a directory. Well, that's good. So let's go to the D drive. I just wanted to make sure it didn't unzip them into the A drive. And there we go. It looks like there's an example, exmpl.c. Let's look at that real quick. See if we can actually compile something. Okay, so it's going to do, hello, welcome to the growing community. Okay. So we should be able to do a ccexmpl.c. Okay, so if everything worked right, we should have a .o file. I'm sorry, we have actually an ASM file. So we generated the assembly language for that. Let's see. We do have AS. So we probably can run AS. It's been a long time since I've done this. If we run AS, it might generate a .o file for us. It did. Okay, so the compiler obviously generates the assembly. AS, which is an assembler, generates an object file. So now we have the object file, but now we have to link it. And let me see, do we have a linker here? Oh, ln is probably a linker. Let me just run ln and see. Yes, it's a linker. So we should be able to type ln exmpl.o. And chances are we need to give it a C library. I'm not sure which one. I'm looking through the list because we call printf. So I'm just going to guess and say c.lib. Okay, so we might have a COM file, we might not. We do, we have a, so if we type in exmpl and just hit enter, it says please enter your name, Stuart, and it says hello Stuart. Okay, so we actually just compiled and created a Z80 CPM executable. So I'm sure there's a lot of information online that will help you figure that out. But it's like classic, you know, it's the whole compile, assemble, link process. But yeah, now you've got a development tool running. When I come back, we'll install a few games on the G drive using the tool set we already have. And then you should be good to have some fun, maybe write some software of your own. All right, so we got a C compiler so we can do some work. Let's get a game so we can have some fun. We're going to grab this version of the original Colossal Cave game just because it's a classic. So what I want you to do is click and download the tar.gz. tar.gz. GZ is the compression. Tar is a tarball for Unix, which means it's a collection of files put together. We're going to use Windows 7-zip to open it up. So if we right click on it and choose 7-zip, open archive, we can see that it uncompressed the GZ, and so now we have the tar or the tarball if you're from Unix. Double click it and we see the files. So I'm going to grab those and I am going to copy them into my downloads directory. Now the patch file, that's a way of patching code. It tells it what to add and what to remove. That one is to change, I think, from an 80 by 24 display or something. We don't need it. So what we're going to do now is, since we have more than one file, we're still going to use Grant Searle's Windows app. So I'm going to pull that up. We need to delete package. I don't remember pressing that before, but okay. And then what we're going to do is drag and drop. We only need these 4 files. We're going to drag and drop them into there. It says it's complete. We're going to open the package file. We're going to copy it. And we are going to go to PuTTY. And we are going to paste it. So I went to the G drive because that's where I want my games. Then I'm going to paste it. And now we have an adventure game. And we should be able to type ABVENT. And here we go. Do we want instructions? No. You are standing at the end of a road before a small brick building. So now we could have some fun. Alright, I'm going to end this video now, but I do have a couple more videos on the CPM project and the RC2014 coming up. So stay tuned for those, guys. I hope you've learned how to add some software. I'll include some additional links below to some large repositories of CPM software. Have a blast, have fun. Remember, learn something new every day. Alright, take it easy, guys.